Good evening, fellow viewers. This is Yellowberry of Yellowberry Creations. So tonight we are going to make this beautiful fascinator using these minimal colors, of course champagne and brown, for our ladies who want to stay elegant but so minimal. So I've got this, my fish bone boning 4mm. I've got my 5mm ribbon in champagne color, and I've got my hot glue and hot glue gun. I've got my crinoline strip brown in color. I've got my needle and thread, of course I'll need that. I've got these ostrich quill feathers. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use it, but I still have it. My rooster feather, which is brown in color, and I also have my clippers, my hot clippers to curl my feather. So to start with, I'm going to make those petals using my crinoline. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure the length I want for my petals, and I'm just going to snip and cut. After I've cut, I'm just going to take the first one and measure the same length for all of my petals that I'm going to make, and then I'm just going to cut. So as you can see there, I'm just going to cut equal lengths for all the strips I need to use for my petals. So all in total, when I finish making this, I'm going to come up with 7 altogether, of which I'm going to have 7 little petals there. So the next thing, I'm going to take my beading, of which I'm sure I'll need, and I'm going to get some brown color which will match really nicely with my champagne color and my cream and my brown. It's just color coding. So I'll take my needle and thread there. I put a knot at the end of it because we're working with crinoline here, which is very difficult to work with because of the large holes in between the strands. So I'm just going to make a running stitch from end to end there using my thread, and hence my thread is double so that it can give me a firm touch. So I'm just going to make a running stitch all the way around, and when I finish making the round stitch, I'm just going to pull the thread up, and tie at the bottom so it can give me that little petal effect. So as you can see, as I've said, the edges of the crinoline, it frays a lot, so you can either choose to do it this way as well. Take your crinoline, hold it up together and give it a tight tie on those edges that are fraying. You can either decide to use a lighter to burn it, but I find that this one is the most effective. So I've tied, and I'm just going to secure it properly with some stitches. Once it's like that, then I go back to what I've done before. I start from edge to edge, and then I'm just going to make some running stitches there. I go to the other edge and I start making some running stitches there. And once I've made those running stitches, I'm just going to pull my thread. And when I pull my thread, see what I've got? I've got this little petal effect. Then I roll again my thread and I tie using the knots. Then I take my lighter and I bend the edges, like I've said, to secure, because they're sort of plastic, like the woven strands. They're sort of elastic, so if you use a lighter, they will stay in put. So I've come up with 7 of them there. And the next thing, I'm going to take my boning and my ribbon, put a little bit of hot glue there, and I'm just going now to wrap around my my boning strip. If you've watched some of my videos before, I'm sure you are aware of how I used to wrap around this boning. So this is how you do it, and once you're doing it, you're trying to make it really tight, really tight against the boning, as I'm doing there. Make sure you're not leaving any gaps in between, that even if you fold it, you won't see any gaps. When you do a few rounds, just put a little bit of glue to secure it and keep on rolling and covering your boning strip properly. Just take your time with this one. You don't need to rush because you need to do it properly, nicely secured, and very firm and tight, so there are no gaps in between. See how it's coming up, like there are no gaps in between. So I continue doing that. Make sure your ribbon is not too long as well as you're doing this, otherwise it will just cause problems when you're trying to twist it around the strip, because it's just catching. So make sure it's not too long. Just make sure you cut it to a length that's not cause you problem. As you can see it now, when you get there to the middle, it becomes easier and faster. Then I take my little leaves and I started making now a flower. So I'm just joining them by putting one petal beneath each other and securing it with my needle and thread there. So see what I'm doing, put one underneath and I take my needle and thread and I just secure it in place. So I'm going to do this until I get all my petals nicely fixed together and I have a little flower effect there. Just be generous with your thread because you need your flower to be intact. You don't want it to split around when you're attaching it to your fascinator. So I continue doing that until I finish, and this is what I've come up with. That's what I've come up with. So I've chosen some few beads, some small beads to put at the center of that, so to cover my stitches. And with my strip, this is the pattern I've made some loops, of which they've come out really nice, and I've used my hot glue gun just to secure the loops together. And now I'm going to put my petal on top of the loops. Here now I'm taking my beads and I'm trying now to make a little pattern to secure there, and that's the outcome of it. I take my patch and I stick at the back so that I'll be able to insert my Alice band. So at the same time I have to use hot glue gun as well to attach that patch behind. Make sure it attaches firmly as well, and as you do that, make sure there are no glues showing. Just try and be as neat as possible. So this is the outcome of this simple fascinator, champagne and brown in color. Hope this has come out nice. And the last thing now is to take my straightener, which is hot already, and I just curl that my rooster feather. At this point I've decided not to put the long cream curl feathers because it will be just too much drama, of course, because my fascinator has got loops and I've put a flower which has got so many petals, so I just think it's nice like that. So this is the outcome of it. Very, very beautiful, minimal colors but still elegant. If you've enjoyed watching this, please keep following my video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so you can keep on watching more of my videos. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.